Hey, people. So I had a vision. I had a vision. I don't know if this is something that is kind of an actual specific situation or if this is just like metaphorical thing, but definitely a heavy, clear, strong vision. There's a single mother or, you know, maybe you're not a single mother at this time, but there is a single mother with two young boys. These are like toddlers. Um, I feel like this is a little bit more futuristic, but these two young boys look like they could be twins, but they're not. They may be like a year apart. Um, they definitely are brothers. One of them is a tad bit younger than the other one, but they look like they could damn near be twins. So someone may actually just have had a son, had two sons back to back, within a year maybe apart from each other. But the mother seems like she's a single mom, and I'm not sure if if she has a vehicle or not, but she's walking with these two boys. And at first, it seems as though she may have had one in the belly while walking with the other one on hip. And then all of a sudden, she pulls the other one out and he's on the other hip. So she's walking with these two boys and then she tells them to hold on to each other. So it's almost like just like she had her arms around them both, they both had their arms around each other, like one arm on each other's back. So they got each other's back. So that's a good thing to know. Now, these boys are extremely adorable, but they are very, very, very mischievous. It's almost like you cannot sit them down and turn your back for a second dealing with these boys. This woman was walking in a industrial area, and it's like she was trying to go get home from an area that she was unsure of because she stopped. It's almost like she walked past this warehouse with the boys and went almost to a bridge and decided to like she realized that she didn't know which direction to really go and she didn't want to walk too far into the wrong direction. So what she did was turned around and went back towards this warehouse. Um, and it's almost like there was an old car looking, it looked like an abandoned car. So she couldn't, she didn't want to just, set the kids down, these boys down on the ground or anything. So responsibility, it looks like she was trying to do things the right way. And so she took them and set them on the hood of the abandoned car. And there was like a red old truck, two door, may have had like uh, a back seat to it, but the door didn't open for the back seat because it was like a back seat window to the truck. This truck was maybe like, I would like to say early 90s truck. Um, yeah. So it may have been a Ford or a Chevrolet or something like that, but it was like the early, late 90s, more so like the early 90s. But anyway, that this truck was parked and it's almost like the boys while she sit them down on this abandoned car. The abandoned car was slightly dirty, but that didn't bother her because the boys were boys, you know. They had some beautiful curly hair. Now this was an African American or a, you know, dark, you know, the woman wasn't dark skinned. Um, but the children had a darker complexion than she did. Now, the woman set the children on the car so she could start looking at her GPS. Now, the thing is that there was something specific about the GPS being a map, not, I mean, on the phone. Now, because for some reason it looked more like a map than a phone, but it was like a GPS. It could have been like a tablet or I don't know. But it for some reason it didn't really look like a phone. So this was almost like one of those old school GPSs or something like that. And I believe she had a hard time getting it to work. Maybe it was the area and she wasn't picking up a signal. So it was almost like she was lost with these two children. And there was all of a sudden, which was kind of nowhere and out of the ordinary. First of all, let me say this. She turned her head for like 3.5 seconds, and it really was her body didn't turn, boys, but her head turned like she wasn't looking at them. She was trying to figure out the GPS. And she looked up and the boys had dirt in their hair. And she was like, wow, here we go, you know, and she started out of, you know, the oldest son was trying to dust it out his own hair, and the youngest son was just sitting there like, what, you know, and so she started dusting the dirt out of his head, and you know, like now I gotta wash y'all's hair and da 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 da. So she was a little frustrated, and it was hot outside on top of that. Um, so all of a sudden, it's almost like she decided to, you know, get up, like I mean, like get her sons, like she was about to get ready to leave. I guess she figured out the GPS, and she had the small. Okay, so it's already trying to disconnect. So I apologize about that, but let me just keep going so I can get it out the way. Like I was saying, she she stood the older one down on the ground beside her, and she picked up the younger one. She still had this GPS map phone thing in her hand, so her hands was pretty tied. But she, you know, when she, you know, and all of a sudden this little girl rode up on a bicycle that she had to be around like in between like 6 or 7 years old. And what happened, and I seen it even though the mother didn't see it, because I'm just on the outskirts of this vision looking, you know. So all of a sudden the little girl starts going, she rides around the older son. I don't know how the distance became stretched for her to be able to do it with, you know, the distance between the mother and the son. But the little girl rode around the son, the older son, on a bicycle, and then she just rode away, you know. But it was almost like a taunting, or it wasn't like she was, you know, she had a cute little smile on her face, but and she never said anything. But it was the way that she rode around the little boy was as if she was checking him out or taunting him in a cute way. And I like, look what I got type ordeal, more so like I'm on a bicycle. And so basically she had a ride, you know. And the mother rides before the mother was about to pick him up as well, she looked up and he was gone. And all of a sudden, she, she notices that that red truck was moving and you couldn't see anybody in it. And she knew, like her soul knew her son was in this truck. So she takes off running with the son. She drops the GPS map thing. So that that's gone. But she knew that her son was in his truck, so she takes off after the truck. The truck is heading straight for the warehouse, and there's people in there working. Now there's males and females in there working. So she chases the truck. The truck, you can tell that the kid, by this time, you can tell that it's him driving his truck because of the way that it's going straight for this warehouse in a diagonal mode, but it looks like it's about to run into the wall. Now, the walls were more of a metal material, so it wasn't like a building. How can I explain it? It wasn't like a brick building or anything like that. It was more like metal material, something that could bend. And so it's almost like the little boy was in the truck and driving it right into the wall of this building, and he managed to get through the because it was like a garage looking thing and it did have another car inside of it, but he missed that car right like by an inch and and hit a wall, and the wall had was like more metal, so it was like a thin metal, so it was able to bend instead of break. It didn't tear anything down, but it definitely put a dent in the wall, this metal wall. It also scared the shit out of another woman that was working there because she just so happened to be in front of the vehicle, and it's like when it hit the wall, it kind of barricaded her up against the up against another wall. And I'm running, well, not me, but well, I guess I can say I was running too because I was watching, you know, but the mother ran up and and they were getting the little boy out of the truck, and everybody was looking so confused. And I heard the mother, she was so stuck and shocked and panic mode. It was like she could barely talk. So it was like she was trying to get words out, but nothing was coming out of her mouth. And I guess it was a male energy in there, and he thought that she couldn't talk, maybe as if she was deaf. So I noticed that he started using, like, he could do sign language. And I noticed that he started, trying to talk to her with sign, and she was like waving her hand like, no, I can talk. I'm just stuck right now with words. And the little boy, they brought her son. She put him on her hip, but she was stuck. But there was a girl there that noticed the girl with the kid, and she was working, but she was like, "I know you. I went to school with you. Do you remember?" And then she pointed to the one of the males, like, "Do you remember her?" So it was two people there that went to school with this girl, that had these boys, and they were working, and they were kind of wondering, is everything okay? But they had like dirty faces and stuff. It was like a warehouse, like a garage warehouse looking thing. So they did have like this dingy look to them, but they were working, so okay. Wasn't like they were just dirty, so I'm just trying to make that clear. But basically, the she was trying to explain to them that she was just trying to it was because I guess she was trying to understand, for one, how was that even possible that that my son was able to drive this truck off. So I don't know if the truck was already running or if he went in there and turned the keys. I don't know how the hell he hit the gas. I don't know how that was possible. But yeah. So she was trying to explain herself to these two, and it was almost like they were confused, like they really didn't want to hear it. Almost like, are you really responsible? You know. So I really don't know the meaning of this vision that I had, but I do know that there are two mischievous boys, but they are very, very adorable. But keep a really close eye on them if this is something that actually is like something that can be a true story to some or whatnot. But keep a close eye on these two boys because one, it's almost like you can't turn your back on one because something's going to happen with the other one. The other one is going to run off and do something, or so this mother is not like she's, from what I see, it's not like she's trying to be irresponsible. It's just that these two boys are too much for her, one for her to handle alone, and she's alone. So yeah, that's all I really got to say about that. I'm not sure what that means or what it really resonates with, but maybe when I go back and listen to it myself, it'll make more sense. But right now, I'm just pushing it out, before I forget about it. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Just listen to it again, and hopefully it makes sense to someone, because it's two kids in it that matter, and it's important, So yeah, please like, subscribe, and share, and thank you so much for checking it out. And I will holler at you later. Deuces.